Alright guys, welcome back. Today is laser delivery day. I ordered an 80 watt black and red off of eBay, so in just a few minutes it'll be here. I can get that in the house and unloaded. So this can easily be moved with the pallet jack, huh?
Oh yeah. You know it.
Okay, so next question, can I borrow your pallet jack? So this is the part that sucks. They're delivering here, but my house is up there.
Actually,
Do you want to drive and I'll push? Whew. Yeah. Here, I'll help you. We can stop right there.
right here.
Yeah. So this is what you get. These guys here, these hoses were stored inside there. And first thing I noticed is this. The guide rail and the transmission part of Limerick weekly maintenance time. That's interesting. So this is the window so you can see in. It does have a protective film on it. Has it on the inside as well. I'll just have to unbolt it, peel that stuff off. Controller. Standby switch, red light switch, Roxanne switch, open cover protection, emergency stop, and interesting, it has an FDA, Food and Drug Administration approved. So we have a access to our stepper motor there, and that guy is actually loose. You guys can see that moving there. I need to take care of that. Open this. We have access to all of our controllers, our power supply. So that's just the stepper controllers, power supply, and the brains for the thing. Over here on the side, USB input connection for the computer, USB disk, network interface, the main power switch, the laser switch, the light switch, and 110 volt input. And these two buttons here is Z-axis, up and down. So if we come back around here, we have our actual laser tube. So this laser tube is not filled with water yet. I do need to hook up the water system and get it going, purge it of air, and then I can start aligning my mirrors. So we have mirror 1 here, come around here, mirror 2, and right there is mirror 3. So that is it. I'm surprised to actually see that the tube is installed. A lot of people said that theirs was not, and they had to install it. And that's just access to the Z. So now we can go ahead, start assembling this thing and prepping it for use. Now inside the first box, you're going to have all of this stuff. So the first thing you're going to see is the air pump. And the air pump is just straight up an aquarium air pump. This is even in the box. So you're going to connect your line, and this is the line that's included. This is the air pump for the system, just an aquarium unit. Another thing that is an aquarium unit is the water pump. I'll get to that in just a minute. You got some tools included. You got a hex key set. I got a pretty brilliant screwdriver. These are hoses for your air lines. I've got some clamps here. There's 3 clamps for the air lines. There's 3 clamps for the fan, to the exhaust fan. I've got an Ethernet cable. I've got a USB cable, some fittings here, silicone sealant, and this guy here is our manual. and I was kind of shocked. I first opened it up, it was all Chinese. But we get to the English portion of it, and right here, forbidden to open any doors when the equipment is working. I want you guys to remember this. I'm going to show it to you in just a bit. But this manual goes over assembly. Basically, they want you to take a 5-gallon bucket, put water in it, connect your hose. You got water outlet and inlet fittings. So you're going to connect your hoses there and just submerge this pump in a bucket of water. They've also got a huge fan like this that is as noisy as can be. I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to show you guys this, but I want to go to the machine and show you an issue I found with my machine. And this all comes back to forbidden to open any doors when the equipment is working. Now, that warning about operating the machine with it open, this machine actually has an open cover protection switch here, and I can turn that on and off. Now, if it's on, there is a switch right here that should stop the machine, disable the laser so that it doesn't fire if this is open. Trick is, this should be a spring-loaded switch that's open when the lid opens. When a lid closes, it should close the switch. Problem is that spring-loaded switch is not spring-loaded, so the machine will never shut off if you open the lid. This is the exhaust fan that's included with the unit, and if I plug this in, now to cool this laser tube, they include a literal aquarium pump. So this thing flows pretty good as far as moving water. Outlet of the aquarium pump, you're going to hook up to the inlet. This actually flows water really well. Thing is you have a laser tube. It's generating heat. You have water coming through that. The whole purpose of that water is to cool the tube. Since you don't have any way to cool the water, instead of having something to cool the laser tube, what you end up with is a water heater. So I have a chiller on the way, and that will get installed, and it will maintain a constant 60 degrees or so for the laser tube. So right now, just to get this guy powered up and do some testing with it, I'm going to hook up the aquarium pump in a 5-gallon bucket of water, and we're going to test this guy as it comes from the factory. Hook up our water outlet. This water outlet is going to flow back into our bucket, and this guy here goes to another aquarium unit, which is an air pump. So with this unit, they include an aquarium air pump and an aquarium water pump, and I'm going to go ahead and zip tie the 2 water fittings. And then I will fill the bucket with water, and I'll start circulating water to fully fill the tube, get air bubbles out. So I've powered up the water pump, and you can see bubbles traveling through the laser tube here. Just getting all of this stuff out. I'm just squeezing this water tube to help push this out here. There we go. Just help it along. So just purging the air bubbles out of the tube. You'll see it travel around here. and come out. So at this point, I've got everything powered up. Seems all cheesy to have a nice laser machine and then have a bucket of water. So we're going to go ahead, and I think I'm going to elevate this end a little bit to help those bubbles flow out of the tube. And then we'll start checking alignment of the mirrors. So I've got my impromptu setup going here, and I'm running, as you can see, I'm running the Batdog logo. And you look down here, the machine's doing its thing. I've got the factory blower setup running. It's blowing outside. Got the water bucket going, and looks like we are almost done with this one. Didn't send the image over here. That's kind of interesting, but that's what we're cutting. My first piece. So I did 2 test cards here. I ran the first file 200 millimeters a second at 15% power, and then the second one is 200 millimeters a second at 20% power. So looking at the two, this definitely looks better for the MDF. So I'm happy with the way this turned out. Even though I'm using that bucket of water and the noisy fan, the machine works. It does everything it should. And I know I said I was going to do a mirror alignment, but I didn't need to. I had suspicion that with that laser tube already installed, most people have to install those. This one came with it installed, and I had a suspicion that, well, it's going to work. The mirrors are aligned if they've already installed the tube. So I came over and I did a pulse test. And my initial pulse test, I was an idiot, and I didn't focus a laser. So after focusing the laser, I had a nice pinpoint dot there. And then I came over and I did my first cut. And this first piece was 200 millimeters a second at 15% power. This was the same 200 millimeters a second, but that was at 20% power. And you guys can see the difference there. So 5% change in power output gives you a much more defined image there. So 15%, 20%. So that's it. I'm done with this one. I'm going to put this guy to work on the Audi and later on the big van build I have here. So see you guys next video.